Running.
Okay, so this is week number 7. So yay! It's like, and everybody's really doing great. I'm very pleased with everybody's progress. So, and as you know, sometimes we'll peak out, we'll kind of stand still there for a while, but then the next week, then we'll start losing weight again. So everybody's a little different. So
that's true. I wasn't even exercising while I was
Really?
gone. Yeah.
Wow. See.
I was walking, but
Okay. So everybody's done really well. So I'm very, very pleased with everybody's progress, really. So, and it takes that effort and self-discipline and, a constant watching, okay, and thinking, am I eating the right thing? Am I being healthy? And even like with you being gone to a foreign country. So you really did good. Yeah, everybody did great. So today we're talking about sleep and what sleep has to do with weight. So my question is, how many hours of sleep do you get per night, normally? So let's start with Becky, if you'll share that with us.
Sure.
honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
When I make a true effort to get in bed by 10, I'm still laying awake in bed till midnight. So, so when I go to bed at midnight or 10, I'd say I get up usually around 7, but I'm up all night long hearing the dogs licking their feet, and I think, stop licking. So it's not a solid.
Do they sleep in your room?
They do. They're both mastiffs. The one's female sleeps in our bed, and she hogs my side, so I lay on my side with my legs stacked, like like this, until she moves. And then the male, he sleeps on the floor. He's 160 pounds, so
I could help you with that problem. I can make a suggestion.
kick him out of the room. I know. That's hard at this point.
It's like one thing if you have kids too. I mean, if you have kids that do that also, because there are a lot of people that do have kids that also, take turns coming in the room, or if they're younger, it just happens a lot. So so we'll talk about that too. Okay. How about you, Julie? How many hours do you usually get?
About 7.
Okay.
Usually by midnight, I'm in bed. I get
About 7, and you said about 7 also. Okay. Melissa, how many hours do you usually get at night?
If I'm lucky, I'll get 5.
Okay. Wow, that's a big wow. Okay.
Yesterday after work, I got maybe an hour and a half.
And do you work night shift?
I work a lot of night shifts. I work 4 to midnight. I work Sunday night. I went at 8 p.m. and didn't get off till 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So by the time I got home, it was after 11.
And what type of work do you do?
I'm an EMT and I'm a dispatcher.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So there's stress with the kind of work you do.
Yeah.
And then there's the sleep. And then how old are your kids?
She's 6.
Okay. Oh, at least you don't have a baby that you have, or a toddler.
She's like bright-eyed, bushy-eyed at like 6 in the morning. Hey, let's do this. Let's do that. No, let's sleep.
Close your eyes.
Right. Yes. Mom's got something else on her mind. Oh, okay. Laura.
So last appointment we could take is 5:30.
From
Okay.
5 to 8.
All right, Terry. All right.
8 hours.
See you later.
5 to 8 hours.
What, you always get more than 5.
Not always. But normally I get like 8.
Okay.
Some nights where I'm like,
Oh, when you can't sleep.
Yeah, or I wake up for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But she's in the bed.
I'm in the bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I do wake ups several times during the night.
Okay. So this is interesting. It's like everybody has their own very, particular sleep pattern
Oh, yeah.
that they have to deal with, and we're going to learn a lot about sleep patterns as well as, what sleep should we get for our age, okay? So interesting thing is that they did a poll. This is the America Sleep Poll. I had no idea that they did polls like that, but okay, pretty cool. And what they found is that in 1998, 12% of the population was getting less than 6 hours of sleep per night. okay? Then in 2009, it went up to 20% getting less than 6 hours per night. Who knows what it is now, right? Because people don't have time to sleep. I mean, I was not aware of that. And they also found when they did this America Sleep Poll that 28% of the population back in 1998 got less than 8 hours sleep, and 35% in the year 2009 got less than 8 hours sleep. So you see the pattern is going like the wrong direction. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's something wrong with that, right? So then we have to ask ourselves, how much sleep should we get? So if you look at your paper, at the bottom, this is very interesting because infants that are 3 to 11 months old should get 14 to 15 hours sleep a night. Now the interesting thing about infants and about toddlers and even us is that we have a 90-minute biorhythm. And with infants, and they've done these studies and it's pretty amazing, but with infants, when they wake up, you can count 90 minutes later, and that's when they should fall back off to sleep. And if they don't have the circumstances, like if, you know, they're overly stimulated and you've got them out in the bath and they can't fall asleep because of the situation, then you're going to have a crying, colicky baby. It's very interesting. But they've also done studies on us, adults, and found we have that same biorhythm. So when we wake up in the morning, 90 minutes later, our brain kind of slows down. So when we first wake up in the morning, that's whenever we should do our most work. That's when we're going to be the most productive. Like within that first half hour, I mean, actually first hour, we're going to be the most productive. So our brains actually peak out in that first hour. And then the next 30 minutes, we kind of slow down until the next hour comes. And then we pick it back up again. And so there are actually companies that work with their employees according to that biorhythm.
Oh.
And, yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah, it's
I
very
know
interesting.
at night, because I have the same biorhythm at night, and you're going to talk about that.
And you're right. I'm glad you mentioned that because that is true. So
Because
if
I can track myself.
Yeah.
I know that when I have to go to the bathroom, it'll be an hour and a half. I can sleep, and then I'll be in my more shallow sleep pattern. And if there's a noise, I'll wake up during that. Or if I need to go to the bathroom, I can feel it then. But I know I can sleep for an hour and a half.
yes, that's amazing that you noticed that.
Oh yeah.
And even if you do like Laura, like when you wake up at night and you have that, okay, I'm laying here, brain's going, can't go back to sleep. But if you look at the clock and realize that, okay, this is the time I woke up, an hour and a half later, your body will be ready to go back to sleep. So it's good to lay there, however, and just do some nice deep breathing and do what I call the 99 countdown. And what that is, it's an exercise that you do when you wake up and you can't go back to sleep, is you take a deep breath in and you count 99, and then you breathe out. Then you breathe in and say 98, and then you breathe out. And you do that all the way down to 0. So it's the 99 countdown when you wake up in the middle of the night like that. And that too will relax you and help you sleep. But also it changes your pH balance from acidic to alkaline when you do that deep breathing. So there's several benefits, and it also massages your internal organs. The questions that we're going to ask ourselves today are, oops, that's it down. Can't read it. These are the questions. What I'd like you to do is on the back of your paper, if you would number between 1 and 6, just number 1 to 6. And we're going to answer these questions either in a yes or a no, okay? So
There's 2 questions on one.
There's 2 questions on one?
Do you fall asleep easily, and do you sleep soundly all night?
Oh.
Because for me, it's a yes/no.
Ah, okay. So there's the question. Do you fall asleep easily and sleep soundly all night long? And if you want to break that into 2, then do it. Yeah, do you fall asleep easily and sleep soundly all night long?
But you know what? When I'm asleep, I sleep very soundly. If I need to go to the bathroom, I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I come back, and I fall immediately asleep.
And that's good. That's a good
Yeah.
pattern. Yeah.
So I really do sleep soundly
Okay.
when I'm asleep. So
Yep.
I'll make it a yes.
And you fall asleep easily too, right?
Yeah, as soon as I fall asleep, as soon as I lay down, I'll fall asleep.
Okay. Okay.
Which is so nice.
That is. I know it's like as you get older, you appreciate that more, right? It's like, whoa, I didn't appreciate this when I was a teenager. Do you fall asleep when you sit down to watch a movie? You ever do that? Yeah? Okay, Melissa does.
No,
Yeah.
I make myself stay awake so I can finish it.
Actually,
Oh
like
yeah, you make yourself stay awake.
I'm like, no, I gotta watch.
Yeah.
the last
Actually-
6 years. Oh, sorry.
Sometimes it doesn't even, I don't even feel how tired I am.
Yeah.
Because it's just habit to stay awake, and then once the movie's over, I'm like, whoa, I gotta go to bed.
Oh, no kidding. It like hits you, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
For 6
Give me
years,
a
I
pillow.
taught early morning seminary.
Yes.
So I was planning a lesson every night till 1 or 1 in the morning and getting
Yes.
up at 6. So I was getting 5 or less hours of sleep. And so literally every time I would sit down, not just to watch a movie, every time I'd sit down, it's like, oh,
Oh my god.
I couldn't sit down because I would be gone.
It's amazing how you can do that with your body, you know? Yeah. Okay, and then do you feel refreshed when you awaken in the morning? Melissa's gonna write no on that one. I think Melissa's got no. So
Pretty much.
Okay. Do you have trouble falling asleep? And I know some of us do. Do you have trouble falling asleep? Do you fall asleep but keep waking up through the night? And I put, barring children or animals. And also, does your significant other snore?
Do you or so
Or do
yes
you?
is me.
Yes,
yes, I do.
Okay. It should be. Do you? Yeah, it does. Do you
Yeah.
or your significant other snore?
What if I do just a tiny bit every once in a while?
Oh, you're probably.
Oh, don't even! You don't sleep with me?
Then you're probably
Oh, wait,
snoring more
I
than you
forgot to
think
write
you
down.
are.
Oh.
Do you or your significant other snore? Then you're probably Don't read the bottom there because I wrote that down and then I'm like, wait a minute, this would be easier if we just did yes or no. Okay, so if you got 2 or more yeses on this questionnaire, then you do definitely.
Well,
Have sleep
number
issues.
3 is a problem.
Number 3,
You're supposed to
do
put,
you feel
you want to put,
refreshed when you awaken in the morning?
that's a yes. Aren't you supposed to feel refreshed?
Some people don't. Do you feel refreshed when you wake in the morning? Like, oh, I can jump out of bed right now. I feel so good.
Maybe 3 times out of the week.
So that tells us whether or not your
Oh,
sleep was
So if you have no,
restorative.
if you have no's, you said if you have yeses.
If you have, if you have more than 2 yeses, then you have an issue. Barring that, I should have kept it a 1 to 3, shouldn't I?
Well,
Or a
because
1 to 5.
the other ones
Yeah.
are supposed to be no's and that's
Yeah.
supposed to be
Yeah,
I'm confused.
thank you.
Okay.
I see that. I didn't think that through.
Sure.
I should have stuck
She
with
had
the
sleep issues.
1 to 5. I should have stuck with the 1 to 5 because first I was going to do rate it on level 1 to 5. But the point is, if you do have 2 of those non-sleeping issues, waking up, can't fall asleep, or lay there for a while, then go to sleep. So different. Everybody's talking about a different pattern that they have, or even like with Melissa, she just doesn't have time to sleep with her situation. But the question is, what does this have to do with weight? So that's what we want to tie in. What does this have to do with weight? Have you guys heard of the 2 hormones, ghrelin and leptin?
Nope.
Okay.
Why did you draw a picture of me?
Actually, Dad drew that, believe it or not.
He's drawing a
Good,
picture.
right? Uh-huh.
Wait a minute, he and I look the same.
Wasn't that good looking when she drew it.
Oh, that's so funny.
I improved.
So ghrelin and leptin, those are the 2 hormones that are responsible for how hungry we are, or whether we're full, whether we're going to eat bad stuff, good stuff. So when ghrelin is high, then we feel hungry. And our body is saying, feed me, feed me. And this is what ghrelin, this hormone, will do, is it makes you hungry. Leptin, however, is the hormone that makes you feel full. Okay? They found in studies that they did that people that got 5 hours sleep produced 14.9% more ghrelin. This is on 5 hours sleep. 14.9% more ghrelin.
More than what?
And more ghrelin than leptin. Their leptin was 15.5% lower, and their ghrelin was 14.
Oh, so they felt hungry more.
They were
if they didn't
right,
get enough
right,
sleep. Okay.
right. So this is the driver right here, and ghrelin and leptin get released whenever it's time to eat, or if you're like me, it's like every 2 hours my ghrelin kicks in. But this is the driving force for how much you're going to eat, what you're going to eat, and so this is interesting. In studies that they've done also, they've done lots of studies on these two hormones. And what they found is that the University of Chicago studied men who got 4 hours of sleep. On 4 hours of sleep, their ghrelin went up 71% over what was normal.
Wow.
Okay? So their ghrelin went up 71% over what was normal. This is on 4 hours sleep. And also, these men consumed far more cakes, cookies, donuts, pies, candy, sugary. Yeah. They didn't have a desire for fruits and vegetables. They went straight for the sugar and the simple carbs, like even potato chips. Mm-hmm. And for women, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that for women who got 5.5 hours of sleep, that they consumed 220 more calories on 5.5 hours sleep because, again, their ghrelin was going high. And that controls your appetite, but also what you eat. Because on this ghrelin high, these women also consumed more sugary carbs and chips, and they had a harder time resisting the simple carbs. And they also had a harder time making themselves eat fruits and vegetables. So as you can see, this ghrelin is a very powerful hormone. But then again, it is regulated by how much sleep we get. Isn't that amazing?
You can't get a ghrelin supplement per se, can you?
You
Or the
can't.
opposite, the
leptin supplement?
I don't need more hunger.
You can't get a ghrelin or leptin supplement,
Ah.
unfortunately.
That's not fair.
I know.
Just need to get sleep.
The other study that they did from Case Western University, they studied over, let me see if I can pull this off. They studied over 68,000 women over a 16-year period. Okay. And they found that the women that got 5 hours sleep, they are the ones that had difficulty maintaining their weight. And in fact, over the years, these were the ones that became obese. Okay? Then they took another group of women who got 6 hours sleep at night, and then another group of women that got 7 hours sleep at night. They found that the group of women that got 6 hours of sleep at night, they too had a harder time controlling their weight.
Quantum, this is
But the
Richard.
women that got 7 hours of sleep at night,
Hey,
not only were they able to control their weight, but they also made healthier food choices. So isn't that interesting? And remember, like whenever we talked about the different parts of the brain, like the prefrontal cortex, which is like the master and commander of the brain, the supervisor, and it tells us eat this, don't eat that. So there's, and I don't know what the